we'll go right into our 8-bit segment. So
let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. I'm super excited because this time Brandon gets to join us for 8-bits, which is so exciting. He used to make little cameos and pop in, but now we've got a 3-person show here. We're moving up in the world.
Look at
All right.
us.
So if you're look at us. So if you're unfamiliar with 8-bits, it's our kind of mini version of Inside the Actor Studio, except it's for technologists. And we ask the same 7 questions each time with an 8th bonus question that's special for our guest. So I'll start with the first question, Bianca, which is, what is your earliest memory of technology?
My earliest memory of technology is Microsoft Paint, using Windows 1998 in my mom's call center. She used to work in a call center, and I liked playing with computers more than toys. So very early on, I think I was like 3-4 years old, I was already, playing with computers. When I was writing, I was already typing. I just was so amazed by the fact that a box had so many possibilities. And that was like, what, 2000, like it was so long ago, and just see how far we've come. But to a kid, that was a lot.
Yeah. What kind of art were you making in Paint? I'm so curious.
I don't remember, just random stuff. And then, I liked Paint a lot. And then eventually I was like, can I have, there's this thing called Photoshop, Mom. Like, she's like, yeah, I know what that is. Can I have Photoshop? It's like the adult version of Paint. Like, I could do way more with it. I learned Photoshop. But I was just so amazed by all the possibilities of software and just computers in general.
Have you seen any, there are some wonderful people on Twitter that are doing these like masterpieces in Microsoft Paint, like almost like Happy Trees, kind of just totally way better than anything I could even draw on paper, truthfully. But there are some true Microsoft Paint artists out there. Brandon, did you ever play with Paint when you were younger?
Oh, all the time. And honestly, I mean, this is a little embarrassing, but it wasn't until just a couple of years ago where I stopped using Paint.
No shame.
A couple of years ago when I started having to create UIs or draw out the UIs that I'd be working on in my mobile apps, I switched to a tool called Sketch. But yeah, before then I was using Paint for everything, and I got really good at it. But then I tried out this tool Sketch. I'm like, oh, you can just do that in a button click. I'm like, I don't have to spend 30 minutes.
I actually recently learned Suze Hinton, who used to be in our team, she's Noob Cat on Twitter. She showed me that there is actually an open source version of Paint called JS Paint, where you can actually host Paint in the browser and use Paint. So that made me very excited because I don't have Paint on my device since I use a Mac. So that's a fun way I kind of get to live my truth out on that. But in college, before memes were a big thing, because I graduated from college in 2011, my friend Molly, when we were really bored in this theater history class that we had, it was like a mandatory class we had to take, she would make these memes before we even knew what a meme was of the shows that we would do. So if we got cast in a show, she would like find a Cabbage Patch doll that looked like me and like put my lines underneath. It was the way that we passed time in a class where we had to read some pretty old, boring, outdated theater literature. So I was using Paint in college, maybe not for the right reasons, but it did keep me All right, question number 2. What is the last piece of tech or hardware that you bought?
It's been a while. Wow, it's been a while. I think
it's like a ring light with all this like work from home stuff. That's been a common answer to this question lately.
I did buy a studio light.
That counts.
But the last time I got something, super, super cool was probably like, I want to say 2 years ago, and it was a GoPro.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Have you used your GoPro to film anything cool, like underwater or like on maybe a dog on a skateboard or something?
Yeah, my friends and I would go to the beach all the time here in LA, and you just taking it underwater and stuff, filming yourself getting beat up by the waves. Lots of fun. Makes everything just look cooler. Like you just But now we have apps on our phones and stuff that makes the same kind of effect and bug. Also, I don't do anything that exciting to have a GoPro. Like I don't see or like do anything that people really get GoPros for. I just like take a picture of my room in like a wide lens. I'm like, oh, that looks really cool. But yeah.
Maybe you should do, so for those of you who have not seen Bianca's Twitter, her entire room is pink. Everything is pink. Maybe you should do a GoPro tour of your pink room.
That would be cool.
I'd watch that content. That would be very relevant to my interests.
Just you and I.
Yes, just the two of us. And maybe April.
April for sure.
Yeah, strap your GoPro on a rocket.
Send it into space. You just got to figure out how to get it back. That's probably the harder part.
I mean,
that is.
Bianca's like, nah, I got it. I'll send you the video.
More like that. We'll figure it out. It's not impossible for sure.
So next question is, what technology do you love? What's your favorite technology?
FaceTime.
FaceTime. Ooh, I love it
right now. Anything that's video chatting is the best because I moved back home in LA, so I'm with my grandma, my mom, and so obviously I don't want to risk anything with my grandma, so I'm not really going out except for like necessities and stuff, but I'm not really hanging out or going out. So my life is basically FaceTime and video calls. So I appreciate it more than ever.
Party. I feel like this is all the kids are using House Party these days, and I get little notifications when my friends are on House Party. But I was listening to a podcast this morning, and I'm curious if you guys feel the same way. That sometimes now that like we do so much of our work through video chat, that doing like, you know, a meeting through video can sometimes feel like work with your friends. And I was like, oh yeah, it does kind of feel like draining sometimes, like to get on video. I have to look presentable, not like I do when I'm not on video. So, and also it's funny because a question that we have later on here is, what technology do you wish existed from film or TV? And when I was in high school, or elementary school, I should say, I thought that video chatting, this is pre-FaceTime, even Skype even, in Xenon Girl of the 21st Century, where Xenon could video chat with her BFF on the space station and back on Earth. I was like, that is the cool. All I want to do is video chat my friends. And now I do this for a living. And I'm just like, oh no. Be careful what you wish for.
Right?
Have you been doing a lot of video chatting, Brandon?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's interesting because the team Chloe and I work on has pretty much always been fully remote. Like when the office here in San Francisco was open, we would go in, not every day, but if we were in town, since we travel a lot, we'd go in once a week. But other than that, yeah, pretty much my day was already video calls, and so now it's not much has changed for me work-wise, other than obviously we can't travel or get on planes, or rather, I don't want to get on a plane right now. And so, but yeah, the video fatigue is real. My wife especially, she's on video calls all day. So pretty much every day is at least 5 hours of video calls, and then yeah, I'll be like, oh yeah, like we're gonna chat with some friends at 7, do some happy hour, and she's like, no, I can't. She's like, I can't look at the computer screen anymore. Or like, I'm done. Have fun, but not tonight.
Now, what I'm waiting for, and this will probably be more relevant to Bianca than Brandon, is I need someone to make like the Snapchat level of filters that do my makeup for me on these video calls, so I don't have to prepare so much for video chat. So I'm waiting for that feature to come to work tools. It'll save me, half hour getting ready in the morning.
Yeah.
So if there's any devs out there looking for a project who are working on video tools, maybe make some makeup.
Haircuts too.
Hair, yeah. I'm like the Tracy from Hairspray.
It gets longer every week, every time we record a new show.
Yeah, my boyfriend could use that as well. He looks like an ensemble member from Hamilton right now with his long hair. He's been using my hair ties to do a ponytail. So I think this could be beneficial for all shapes and sizes and genders of people, for sure. Okay, next question is, what technology do you hate? What technology do you dislike? For me, my answer to this was I don't like anything where people can be anonymous and say mean things. Like that's sort of my whole like I love technology, but I think when used in a best case scenario, like people have to behave well, but maybe there's some sort of space thing or maybe something that you just don't like on your phone.
Yeah. I agree with that. I didn't even think about that, but that's actually a good answer because I have definitely come across corners of the internet where people are saying really weird, messed up things that are just terrifying. And well, that's the power that the internet gives people, anonymity. Is that a word?
Yes.
But
anonymity.
The anonymity. So definitely, tech is very powerful, but a lot of people abuse that, and we don't want that.
That's why I get so excited about like moderation tools. So we don't have to have like a human moderating everything, that we can, have technology that like scans things for like abusive behavior and stuff like that. Because with great power comes great responsibility. And if you're going to be anonymous while you do it, don't be a jerk. That's my motto. All right. Next question. What other profession would you want to attempt? So if you didn't go into this whole space rocket field, what other job would you like to do?
I'm pretty recently interested in more on-camera stuff. I've always wanted, when I was younger, I had like a phase where I wanted to be a news anchor.
I love it.
So if I could incorporate my passions with being on camera and then delivering that information to people, or being a face that represents the industry, that'd be cool. I don't know if a job like that exists, but I mean,
well, you're doing that right now.
Can you create one?
Yeah, I would totally watch a Space Today and Space show from Bianca live from her pink room. So we should talk.
Or an engineer that works on roller coasters, because I played Roller Coaster Tycoon forever, and I think that is when I really got into engineering, because like, oh, like people do this for a job, and then there's physics involved and da da da.
Yes.
So yeah, being able to, oh my god, okay, no, I thought about it now. I've always, and I still would like this to happen, a Disney Imagineer.
That's what I said for my answer. Yeah, and actually Brandon worked at Disneyland, or Disney World, I should say. But I was the same way. I love Roller Coaster Tycoon. I love all those games. And I saw a thread recently that was all about redesigning one of the Disney rides. And I thought, what a cool job to like create the magic that still, as a 30-year-old, when I go to theme parks, I'm still in awe of like flying over Peter Pan and knowing underneath me at E.T. and Peter Pan and whatnot that it's actually just little twinkling lights under a black piece of film. But to me, I'm flying.
And the animatronics, they're so realistic.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know how many times I have to ride Pirates of the Caribbean to get it in my head that these are not actual people, because it's so real. And I'm the one on the edge of the boat just being like, trying to see the details, like this isn't real. I know it.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how
Johnny
real
Depp in
they've
this episode.
Yes, yeah, we were talking about how Johnny Depp used to sneak in and people really couldn't tell the difference because the newer animatronics are so realistic.
So realistic.
I think that's why I have such an obsession with robots, because the idea, like, I love, I don't know if y'all have been to the Star Wars land yet at Disneyland, but they have this little robot DJ who I believe is from one of the other Tomorrowland rides that they moved over there, but he interacts and talks with everyone, and he's a robot, but he's so expressive. And I think that's so magical when you're able to make like piles of metal and plastic look like a living, breathing thing. It's so, so cool. I spent what was that?
Yeah, and just making these movies come to life where they look just like in the movies, right? Because then all the kids are like, whoa. And I mean, we're like, whoa.
Yeah. Pro tip: if you get if you get bored during shelter in place, I spent the first 2 weeks of quarantine just watching Disneyland and Disney World ride videos because a lot of them, they like make it feel like you're on the ride. But a really fascinating thing is there's a lot of rides that don't exist anymore that have been taken out or like changed or whatever. So I love to see like how different rides have turned into different things, like Mickey and Minnie's Railway. Used to be the Hollywood train ride at Disney World, and kind of seeing what pieces they bring from it. So there's some fun magic on these theme park rides. I can't wait to go on a theme park ride again.
I know. What's your favorite ride at Disneyland?
Ooh, that's a tough question.
Space Mountain.
Space Mountain's great.
I worked on Space Mountain.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
See how the magic gets made.
So I should probably fill you in. So this is when I interned at Disneyland, their engineering, I guess, division. And so the summer I was working there, this would have been 2009. This was in Orlando at Disney World. Disney had closed Space Mountain to do a total renovation. So literally ripped out the whole track and replaced it. Idea was safety, so you would have a vehicle that didn't just ride on it, but had multiple points. So you had wheels on the side and the bottom and the top. And yeah, one of my jobs was to basically walk that track every day, and we would check all the circuitry. So somebody else was running the cables and hooking up wires that went back to the control center. And we just basically had to go in with an ohm meter and make sure everything was connected. And so I spent a lot of time on Space Mountain, or at Space Mountain, I should say.
Wow.
That's really cool.
Literally on Space Mountain.
I'm less of a roller coaster girl and more of a flying girl. So I love at Disneyland, I love Peter Pan, but I also love E.T., the E.T. ride at Universal, because you're technically flying in that one too. But also I love, it's not there anymore, but Country Bear Jamboree, where all of the taxidermy sings and all the bears are singing. Love that. I have a lot of taxidermy in our home, and I wish it could sing and come to life. What about you, Bianca? You said Space Mountain. Brandon, is yours Space Mountain as well?
It doesn't exist anymore, but mine was, what was that one? It was like extraterrestrial experience.
The scary one.
Yeah. I love that kid. And
I went down a rabbit hole of that early in quarantine.
It was terrifying.
Is that Disneyland or Universal?
It was at Disney World.
Disney World.
I have been to Disney World, but it was I went to Epcot, but it was for like 3 hours.
So they had to change this ride, Bianca, because I believe that the history here is Bob Iger really wanted to make a ride that his teenage son would think was like scary. And it was their attempt to make a really scary ride at Disneyland. And at first it was too scary. Like it was kind of themed off of Alien. And I think since then it's been turned into a Lilo and Stitch ride. Obviously, I went down a very long rabbit hole of this, but I'll send you the videos. I'll tweet out the videos because it was a fascinating history.
It was amazing. The idea was to teleport an alien, but then the alien they teleported was the wrong one, and it was a dangerous alien. And then it breaks out, and as soon as it breaks out of the teleporter, the lights go off, and you just hear the alien walking around
like screams,
this studio, and like you're in a harness, and like the harness moves, so you can feel him like stepping over you, and like you can feel his breath on the back of your neck. It was terrifying, but I loved it.
Have you been on the one that rides through technology over the years? I don't remember what it's called. I think it's called something Earth.
Yeah.
In the one in the golf ball, the geodesic dome, or geodesic.
Yeah, I think so. But it was the one where it's slow, but it goes through all these different scenarios, like over history. I thought that one was so cool. That one was really cool.
So, Bianca, what profession would you not like to attempt?
I kind of flip-flop with this because I've always wanted to learn more and try it out. But the classes I've taken, I've always been like super frustrated. Something computer science, I feel like I don't know if I would like it or not, but I feel like I'd either love it or I would hate it because I don't have the patience.
That makes
Don't
sense.
hate me, world.
I mean, I work in computer science, and sometimes I love and hate it too.
The highs are high and the lows are low.
Yeah,
that's what it seems like. So I'm like, I don't know
I've
if I'd
definitely
be.
wanted to throw my computer across the room before, and then I solve it like an hour later.
Oh, I spent the last day and a half trying to figure out what was wrong with my code, only to find out that nothing was wrong with my code and everything actually worked. It's like day and a half just gone.
Infuriating. So we don't blame you. So the next question is usually, what technology do you wish existed from film or TV? But I'm also going to throw in for you, Bianca, or a Disneyland ride or a Disney World ride.
I want to say, have you? I don't remember what it's called. It's been so long, but there is this huge area in Tomorrowland where you go in and it's super futuristic. Do you know what I'm talking about? And it has like a futuristic home where everything's touchscreen.
Yes. So like a smart home thing.
Yeah. Which does that exist? I wouldn't be surprised if it already exists.
I guess in a way. I think when I answered this question, I said the smart home from the Disney movie Smart House. Which is like kind of similar to that, where it's like, I want bacon, and then like your bacon comes out of the table. Or like I don't know if y'all are watching, there's a new Amazon Prime show called Upload, and they like 3D print all their food. So they're like, oh, I'm gonna have like some soup, and then they'll like 3D print the cup of noodles.
Whoa.
Like I'm like,
that would be so nice. Oh my god.
And then we have the bonus ad hoc question, Bianca. Tell us about your favorite Barbie. I know that you are a Barbie collector, loving all the pink that you do. I brought my space Barbie to say hello to you, since she's holding my NASA Social.
NASA Social.
But tell us about your favorite Barbie.
Yes, I have her right here. Ta-da!
Ooh.
So this
I'm
is
seeing 1965.
Yeah.
1965?
So this is a recreation of the Barbie from 1965. So yeah, look at that. And you have to remember, 1965 is when this Barbie came out. If you think about the world at that time, space-wise, this is a woman astronaut. Think about 1965. When did we go to the moon? 1969.
69.
I know that from a song from Even Stevens. We went to the moon in 1969. That sounds like that.
Right? So
what does the little speech bubble say next to her head?
I don't know if you can see it. It says, "Yes, I am a rocket scientist."
I love it. That is so
cool. Cute.
Cool.
And you can't tell, but it's kind of glittery. Oh, maybe you can. It's glittery gray.
Oh yeah.
And the workers.
What are her accessories?
So she has her cool little helmet. Oh, I can't see what I'm pointing at. Oh my gosh. Where am I? Oh, my nails are so bad. Quarantine. She has a cute helmet. She has, what do you have?
You know what I'm impressed about is that picture of her hair on the front. I wish my hair looked that good after I took a helmet off. Like her hair is the helmet in a way.
But I just think it's so interesting that Barbie came out with this Barbie at that time, because
yeah,
like I said, we were just going to the moon a few years later, walking on the moon. So men were just on the moon. Women were not this, So I'd imagine young girls who got these Barbies were like, yeah, I want to be an astronaut one day, So that's why I really like this one. Like, Barbies are cute and all, and, they're great. But I especially like some of the messages that they deliver. And this one, I think, is my favorite one, because it's just a cool part of history, I think, captured in cuteness.
Yeah. And even that spacesuit looks like the old school Mercury astronauts suit, where it was all silver, and they literally did it just so it would look good on TV.
I love it.
I mean, obviously the spacesuit had to be a good spacesuit, but yeah, the design was all about, let's make sure it looks really good on our black and white TVs. So they went with silver.
Yeah, and I like the little blurb they have. Barbie isn't just another pretty face. This doll has held more than 80 challenging careers and excelled in every one. Yes, she was a rocket scientist, taking us to new fashion heights while firmly placing her stilettos on the moon. I love that.
The content we crave. Is yours wearing stilettos? Mine's got these moon boots.
I can't see. They look like
Probably
boots.
not so practical,
But I'm sure she'll take her stilettos.
yeah. Oh man. Well, that was 8-bits, y'all. Thank you, Bianca, for that little 8-bit treat. I am so excited to learn that your alternate career is also an Imagineer. We're twinsies, obviously. So we're going to close up. We have about 5 minutes left here. But this is sort of our section where we plug what we're learning and what we're doing. So, Brandon, first of all, where can people find you on the interwebs? And is there anything you want to share that you're working on?
Absolutely. You can find me on Twitter. My handle is The Code Traveler because I love to write code and I love to travel. Or you can check me out at codetraveler.io. But yeah, I want to take this opportunity just to give a shout out to everybody because we've talked about an app that I recently pushed to the App Store called Git Trends. It's a way you can monitor your GitHub repos. And so for somebody like me that has and contributes to a bunch of open source repos, I love it because I can keep track of how many people are viewing, cloning, which ones are active. But yeah, this last week has just been overwhelming in the best way possible because so many folks have contributed from the community. And it all started with a friend of mine, Carrie. I was on his podcast, Dev Talk. So if you're a .NET developer, check out Dev Talk, hosted by Carrie Lothrop. But he mentioned that he lives in Germany, and wouldn't it be cool if the app was in German? I said, sure. If you want to write the code and send me a pull request, we'll add German. And then it's snowballed, and now I've added in. Well, I didn't do anything. The community added in Spanish, Portuguese, Russian. We've got German. We've got more coming with Bosnian, Greek, Norwegian.
The beauty of open source.
It's
amazing.
Yeah. And so just thank you to everybody for contributing. And if you also are a developer out there that speaks multiple languages, go to GitTrends, GITTRENDS.com, and open up a feature request, and we'll add in your language as well. I would love to have as many languages as possible.
Yay! And how about you, Bianca? Where can people find you on the interwebs?
My Twitter and my Instagram are both at Pink Rocket Ship. And yeah, that's all
She's
you.
got great content. I love it. I DM her all the pink, cute stuff that I find on the internet all the time. For myself, I'm super excited that I'm going to be speaking at Powerful Devs Conference, which a teammate of mine is putting on. I'm going to be talking about how to make AI and ML feel less like sci-fi. So kind of in the theme of what we were talking about earlier, and making it more accessible for people who maybe have beginner coding skills or just don't know where to start. And if you want to get a head start on that, you can go to aka.ms/powerfun with Chloe. And I will share that on Twitter as well. And I'm just so excited, Bianca. Thank you so much for coming to join us today and spreading the good word of everything rocket and pink and sparkly and wonderful. I think what you're doing out there is amazing. And we have yet to come up with this sign off for this show, Brandon. We got to think of a good one. So maybe we should do like a space themed one this time. We'll do, what's a good sign off for us, Bianca? We'll do Good Night Moon.
Buzz Lightyear. Live long, prosper, have fun with Microsoft Paint.